Welcome back again to one of my sessions for learning Linq with C#. At this point, we'll be discussing about Linq query operations. We'll cover the filtering option, ordering, grouping, and joining. Okay, let's get back to work. For that purpose, I'll have my Visual Studio project open. So this is a blank .NET Core project as always, and I have my basic template right here. We'll start with the data source, and then we'll write the Linq queries right here, and then we'll do the execution at the third point. For that purpose, we'll deep dive a little bit into more complex topics. So for that purpose, let's do a class, because before we were doing Linq queries only of for example, the data source would have been only of a data type string, integer, or maybe an array, etc. At this point, we're going to move to more complex subjects. Okay, so let's do a class for person, and let's add some properties in it. So for example, public int employee ID, that's going to be the ID, and let's set the get and the set, and let's continue with the name, string, get set, then we'll do a last name as well. Okay, public string employee type, get set. I just want you to have some generic data so that you basically understand how it really works. String city. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is right here I will do a constructor of the class person, and then I'm going to assign a default value for employee type. Okay, and I will say that this is employee. All right. Okay, now for the data source, to avoid lots of typing, I have the collection already ready for me. So just 1 second, I'll just copy it and paste it, and then I will explain what I've done as well. Okay, so all right, employee code, actually this is employee ID. Okay, we could have gone the other way around, but I chose this one. Okay, doesn't matter. All right, so basically what do we have right here? We have a new list of a data type and object, which is person class in our case. Okay, so remember, before we dealt only with integer, double, maybe boolean data types. At this point we're going a little bit deeper into the subject, and we're going to use POCO classes or models actually to define data and objects and properties. Okay, so let's continue further with the subject. We'll firstly we'll use the filtering by using the clause aware, and in order for us to do this, I'm going to define a variable called query1. Okay, and that's going to be starting from the element p in basically all persons, right? Oops, not this one. Persons is basically the data source. Okay, persons. And then the way we use it before, for example, if we want to run a full select, we would do it this way, right? Oops, select p. Okay, if we want to run a full select, but then How about we'd like to find the record where employee ID, for example, is equal to Monica, and for example, if the employee type is a CEO in case. All right, so basically, yes, Monica is a CEO. So how do we do this? It's very simple. After the from P in person, we add the where clause, and then we just state the property, which is P, right? Because we say right here from P in persons, where P, the name equals, right, Monica, okay, and we set employee type, right, equals to CEO, okay. All right, so basically our query is already ready, right? And what we can do at this point is we can just run the execution, meaning that we can basically iterate through the query to see if it returns anything. So right here we say for var e, for each element in the query, right, 1, print out the result. Print out the result as long as it matches the criteria or the Linq query that has been written and stored under this variable. Alright, so let's see what happens after we compile this. Okay. Oops, I forgot. Alright, so what did I do wrong right here? The wrong thing is that I did not include the property name. So print what I, but we're speaking about, this is a person object, okay? So basically I print, for example, name, okay, plus, let's do concatenation, and let's do plus I dot employee type, so that we see that this condition is met as well, okay. All right, there we go. So Monica is a CEO, and it is found in the collection, right, which is right here. Yes, Monica is the name and the CEO is right here. So basically that is been the condition has been met. But before I jump directly into the operator end, I should have done it first of all like that, for example, because we were speaking. So let's go step by step, obviously. So we have a word P name Monica. So let's say if that person was also Monica, or let's just set another Monica, okay. So we're going to return two Monicas right here, okay. Keep that in mind. All right. So because we are filtering now for each P name which equals to Monica. Let's just